Shirt in South Florida. He's in Montreal, Quebec, where we bring you unfiltered, uncensored conversation on a wide range of topics. This podcast is dedicated on giving a platform to express opinions, thoughts, and experiences and ideas. That's a lot of ants. From a variety of perspectives and very honest opinions. Join us as we dive into the latest news, pop culture, politics, and so much more. When I mean so much more, I can't even explain it. Sit back, relax, and join us, because now we're about to jump into this newest rant. Why am I sort of making this, a little funny? Well, because it's about media bias. The perceived actual bias of journalists and news producers within the mass media, and the selections of the events and stories that are being, I guess, funneled into everyone's iPhone, Android, so I'm not racist, TV station, whether you watch, the Fox or the CNNs, right? And it's the way they frame the news story, which is editorializing someone's specific views or narratives. It's very partisan, very ideological, very commercial based, right? It's confirmation based, it's selection based, and it can affect public opinion as a whole. Why do I sort of want to go down this road? Because we all know that Donald J. Trump, the former president of the United States, was civilly found guilty of doing something. All right, civil versus criminal, two very different things. The Biden family has not been convicted of a crime, nor has Donald J. Trump. Okay? So let's be clear. Neither one of these presidents have been charged and convicted criminally, because a charge is an assertion of someone's facts, their allegations. They're not facts, sorry, they're allegations. And we can allege anything that you want. But when you go to the media, you would think the world has convicted Donald J. Trump. But you know what they forgot to mention? 750 rockets firing into Israel. They forgot to tell you about the death mortality rate in the Ukraine. They forgot to tell you how many women and children are displaced in either country. It's called selective reporting. And it's almost as bad as literally propaganda media. We all made fun, again, David and I grew up in the 80s. And we all sort of made fun of the Soviet Union, right? And we saw the wall come down, the fall of the Soviet Union. Gorbachev tore down that wall because Ronald Reagan said so. No, because the political pressure came to a point where it could no longer continue the way that it was going. Now, let's flash forward 40 years, and now you got Vladimir Putin, where he's trying to reassemble the Iron Curtain, no matter what, at whatever cost. But the media fails to do it. The media was focused in the CNN broadcast about, do you think Putin should win or the Ukrainians should win? Instead of saying, how do you end the crisis of literally carnage, where one country invades another country, something that hasn't been seen since before or since World War II, as a mass genocide, right? You've had invasions in Vietnam, you've had invasions in Korea. They've all occurred. But we're dealing with just going back to World War II. And again, this is where, David, I think you're going to jump in on the amnesia of the rockets firing in Israel and the twisted media on saying, well, there were 12 Palestinians that got injured today. Not the 750 rockets that Hamas has sent into women and children, hospitals, libraries, schoolhouses.
It's not, you know what, Stuart? It's not amnesia. And you call it selective mutism. It's bias. It's agenda-based news. It doesn't matter. It's actually about ratings. And let's be realistic. Okay. And I had this debate with somebody the other day. I said, so, they said to me, what do you think of the Trump CNN town hall? I said, I didn't watch it. What do you mean you didn't watch it? I didn't watch it. Why not? Because I know what kind of circus they're trying to create. And I'm not willing to give them the ratings for so they can sell the advertisers. Look how we're doing things. CNN needs to create circuses, and I'm sorry that Chris Licht, I think for the first time in his mandate, has really dropped the ball here. This wasn't news reporting. This was a staged, absolutely staged circus that didn't need to happen. And like you said, the media grasped it across Canada, US, Western Europe. That was like the headline. You're talking about a former president, not even the sitting president, a former president in an alleged rape case, which again was disproven. And all we could do is to try to disgrace an individual that you knew for 4 years while being president, to ratings like no one's business. Now here we are. So I'm trying to understand. Is there no other news in the world? I mean, let's be realistic. You have Title 42 that just ended. So now we shift from Trump to immigration. So what I've seen is primarily with Western news is it really doesn't give a shit about you and me and the rest of the world. It's what could drive advertisers. In the world today where the media is, where advertisers are running away, and I mean running away, cutting the cable cord, people are not watching the news. You need to do these circuses to bring people back. You need to create these fictitious, things to get people to watch or to read or to listen to. People are tired of it and are walking away. But like you said, I mentioned it to you, 750 rockets fell into Israel, not a peep.
Yeah.
You have Africa that's in a blaze with civil wars and problems in Sudan. He talks about it. Okay, you talk about the Ukraine. There's a war on in Ukraine. It doesn't even to use the old newspaper colloquial. It made the back pages. Okay, it hardly even made it doesn't even make a headline anymore. Okay, when you think about a year ago, you and I and everybody else was just obsessed about Ukraine. Nothing else mattered. And by the way, we do this. The coronation of King Charles last Saturday, that big event. Think of how many Western reporters went to London. And yeah, once in a lifetime, I agree with you. But the wall I recorded it. It started at 4 a.m. Eastern, the coverage, until I think 11 a.m. I mean, this is what was the most important news. It's absolutely mind-boggling to think that the world accepts this, and the media who claims to want to shift should just admit it's not reporting news anymore. All it's doing is giving you biased information. It doesn't do its homework. Stuart, you're a financial advisor. I'll give you a completely different scenario. As a financial advisor, you saw what happens when people get on CNBC and all those financial things, and they said, listen, I'm going to give you my opinion. This is my opinion. Take it for what it's worth. This is my opinion about a stock, a bond, or an investment. This is my opinion. It's not the opinion of the station. This is my opinion. It's time that all the news outlets start doing this because it's no longer factual news.
Okay? Well, so, you brought up financial advisor. When you have a portfolio manager, immediately, this doesn't influence a trade, buy or sell, negative, this, that. We all have disclaimers. So you're correct. Financial advisor, people in finance.
No, I'm talking about on TV. The ones that
correct on TV. Correct on TV. We have to say where we are, say what we do. It is a part of our book. It's not part of our book. You cannot manipulate. It's an SRO, self-regulated organization that forces everyone to abide by rules. There used to be rules for journalists. And I think what you're saying is those rules have just gone away by partisan. Same with law enforcement. Today, there used to be, if you were rich and famous, you avoided going to jail. Now, if you're a Republican or a Democrat, it shows the level of conviction. And I would like to know if there's actually a study over conviction rates over Republicans versus Democrats, because I think that's another interesting bias that, is coming up. But at the end of the day, David, there are people dying in this world, and the most important thing seems to be things that aren't even in the news,
Stuart,
like trying to destroy Ron DeSantis, before he's a candidate.
No, but Stuart, take it a step further. Even the questioning, even the and I got clips of it. Even the attitude. I've never seen, Jimmy Carter, the oldest living president still. And when they asked Carter a question with all of his failures, and he was a miserable president in what he did, right? Also, one-term president, went through hell, screwed up in Iran, blah, blah, blah. The list goes on and on and on. They talk to him with reverence. But when it comes to Donald J. Trump, as much as they tell everybody, he should be treated badly because he treats people badly, that's not media anymore. That's not news. That's a childish attitude to get attention. And that, in media terms, means ratings.
Again, the commercialization of news is definitely one way of looking at it. And it was something, there used to be like Manchurian Candidate movies where the media was being manipulated. I forget the movie. And I'm going to give kudos to, some parts of Hollywood. Things from Star Trek are becoming a reality. We all have a personal communicator. So there are some things from sci-fi that come to reality. And I remember as a kid in the 80s, actually with Robert Wiseman, on a one rainy summer day, we went to rent a VHS tape. And it was about a Manchurian Candidate and how they were able to control the news with a digital computer. And again, this is reality today. Now, again, other things that we're forgetting is, why aren't we doing more to make society better? And, there used to be a book that we once were forced to read, 1 Minute Manager, trying to get back on topic. 1 Minute Manager's keynote thing was about focus on what people do right, not on what they do wrong. Reinforce how they did something right to reflect on everything else that they do.
Stuart,
I hate to tell you, they don't want to. It's an actual choice.
I'll give you an example, but I'll give you an example of why they don't want to. Is because right now, today, you've got liberal media outlets that are trying to get Fox eliminated. In Canada, there's a movement, actually. There's an organization that's appealing to the Canadian Radio and Television Commission to cut Fox from our cable providers. Okay, to give you an idea, this is important, right? Because Fox disseminates fake news. But I'm asking myself, why are you, like, the media is just so consumed with its belief of its superiority that it doesn't even look in the mirror and go, what am I doing wrong? It's only being told by the CEOs, by the parent corporations, do whatever you can to generate ratings, because our revenues are down, our profits are down. And we don't care if we lie to the people, but just don't get caught like Fox. Sound familiar?
Yep. But on that note, that's it for today's episode, David.
Let me give you one last comment for everybody, and then I'll let you go for it, okay? The only thing, folks, we could do is to, like, these are the blogs. These are what we do here. And if you go and you listen to other podcasts, this is truth media, not opinion media. Listen, watch. There are a bunch of us out there. Stuart, as you wrap this up, please, we are trying to get this word up because real news is important. Stuart.
That's all for today. Thank you for tuning and listening on wherever you got this podcast or video cast. We hope you've enjoyed the conversation, getting some value and insight. We appreciate your support and hope you'll join us next time for more thought-provoking conversations every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, noon Eastern. In the meantime, don't forget to follow us on social media. Go to our website, catch up there. It's a brand new launch coming. David will hopefully on Monday will clarify what the hit the enter button is and go and take a look. And we appreciate you listening. Until next time, keep on